It's extremely important. This is what actually makes you an effective predictor. If you don't do that, you just you can only predict coin flips. Or we know that we live in an uncertain world, and the only thing that you can make truthful statements about our probabilities. You can say that this probability is higher than that probability, or this probability. You cannot say that this is going to happen. Nothing is going to happen with 100% probability. So thinking in terms of probabilities and figuring out or getting familiar with how probabilities work, what's Bayes' theorem, for example. This is extremely important when you want to actually have engage in discussions about the future on a more fundamental level than just anecdotal. Unfortunately, I think the most likely thing to prevent is some huge accident, bio-accident. That's just like seems the most likely scenario, because otherwise we're just heading there. Obviously, there might be situations that sort of nicer situations, like it might turn out that the brain is actually much more complex than we currently estimate it to be. And so yeah, like accidents, or it turns out the target is much higher than we think it is right now. But we don't really have evidence that it is much higher than we think it right. That's why we think it that it's on the level where we think it is, because that's what we have evidence for. Like, I don't make any statements where that I'm 100% sure of, because I know that's guaranteed to be incorrect. Nothing is 100% sure. I just say that the dualistic worldview, given the evidence that we have about other things, people not being able to predict the future and not being able to communicate reliably over distances, just points that there really doesn't seem to be. It is very unlikely that there is anything than laws of physics. There might very well be that we are a universe that's run in a bigger universe, but since we cannot tap into the laws of that bigger universe, at least now, I have to consider that the laws of physics as we know them now are all there is, and just keep tweaking them as we get new evidence. So yeah, we might get some evidence. It would be obviously phenomenal if we saw that there is something dualistic about minds, but so far we haven't got any evidence about that. Because there are some evidences that point towards we living in a simulation, or in it's called non-basement universe. And like Fermi paradox is one of them. Like, why don't we see anyone else here? Why are we alone? Like, one explanation there might be, I don't know how probable that is that it's just simpler to simulate the background of stars, of lightless stars, versus sort of engineered background. That would be more complex. And so it's like it would conserve the resources of the guy who was running us in his basement. Well, big and small are relative judgments, and we can only to a bacteria, like an airplane would look like inconceivably big. So it's like, and the important thing to realize is that there is nothing special about our scale of space. So if we say that our universe is like really too big to run in a computer, not really. We don't know what kind of scales the underlying universe considers normal, or underlying intelligence is considered normal. Biotech and AI. These are the two things that we might really shoot ourselves in the foot with. So yeah, and nanotech as an extension of biotech, I would say, because they might actually converge into the same strain of technologies. I'm not an expert on biotech, so I might be wrong here, but it seems that we might get the ability to engineer biological systems and engineer them on a level where they actually start forming shapes that we want them to form. So therefore, we just by printing out the DNA and or basically engineering the DNA, we would be able to engineer small biological systems that would then form bigger systems that would could already be considered like nanocomputers and things like that. So the biotech seems to be a plausible path to our ability to control systems on a very small scale, and nanotech is all about that. Well, there are good reasons for that and there are bad reasons for that. Everyone has people have different reasons for doing what they do in general, and so in particular, we see that technology has improved our lives, and this is a reasonable thing to do and expect in the near future that there will be more technologies coming out of the technological progress that will make our lives even nicer. I am kind of cautious about this, is basically extrapolating that trend to infinity and saying that the more powerful machines we get, the more disruptive technology get, the better. So I think that trend does not go on forever. So we have to proceed with caution from some point on. In general, I'm a consequentialist in the sense that I try, although obviously I'm not always successful, I try to, whatever I do, I try to figure out what are the futures that I consider good or bad, and see whether my actions are going to steer the world towards better or worse future. An example would be the action of fastening your seatbelt. This is I consider like a probability pump. You have two futures. In one future you are dead, in one future you are alive, and the action of fastening your seatbelt takes some probability away from the bad future and puts that to good future. There's no guarantees. You can easily say that why would you fasten the seatbelt? Because you don't know if you're going to get into an accident. There's no point in fastening your seatbelt. Or they might say that you should not fasten the seatbelt because there are accidents where it would be actually detrimental to have your seatbelt fastened. And it's actually a very similar situation with HI development. There are people who say that we should do the HI because if we don't do the HI, then this thing will happen. I mean, I think it's equivalent to saying that you shouldn't fasten the seatbelt because you might get in an accident where you can get strangled by the seatbelt. So it's really, I think the correct way of thinking is that you think about your actions and see what kind of probabilities to take from what kind of futures and put to what kind of futures, what other kinds of futures. So working towards singularity, I think it's too broad goal. I would say that I definitely see a lot of value into working towards a better future, in the sense that you pick your actions that take probability from dystopian futures and put those into positive futures. And then it seems to me that currently some of the biggest leveraged areas to do that probability pumping are biotech and AI. So you figure out how to avoid biotech disasters and AI disasters and try to take your actions so they wouldn't happen. Try to minimize their probability. a lot of people would say here that it's actually important to reform the education. And like in principle I would agree with that, because the education is really outdated and we have systems that we couldn't dream of when the public school system was invented like 250 years ago, depending how you count. But the problem with that is that I don't think we have enough time. If you try to change the world for better through education, you need generations, and I don't think we have like many generations left. So actually we need some other ways of promoting rationality and steer clear of biases, trying to and basically sort of what I say that what the world needs is like an engineer's view of future. So it's like all the systems we create, we actually figure out what they're going to do before we're going to launch them, and I have this consequentialist view that I just spoke about. And these things, unfortunately, are very hard to promote in existing society. One of the things that I'm thinking that might be beneficial is just use the fact that the world is getting more and more connected as a result of internet, and make sure that the pockets of rational people, they get connected. So actually we have like a global society on top of society that can actually see ahead instead of just like I said, inventing stories and sticking to them. That might be one approach. I don't know if it's going to work, but
you're a member of or you're on the board of the Lifeboat Foundation.
Technically, yes, but I haven't done much work there in like 3 years or so. So it's I think Lifeboat organization is it's an interesting idea, but they are not really optimizing towards consequences in the world. They seem to be optimizing for just getting prominent people together and giving them an email forum to discuss things and a website. But that's pretty much it. So the problem I have there is that there doesn't seem to be a lot of focus there, enough focus there. Well, yeah, Hugo de Garis has this really radical prediction that this will be the major issue of this century, and there will be like a literal war about this. I think he has some good points there, but I don't actually expect that to happen. And the reason is that I don't think people in sort of large society is centered around, or the sort of politics are centered around big rational issues, and so it's like that the issue of species dominance, as Hugo de Garis is too abstract to bubble up to politics. That's my thinking. I might be wrong there. I don't know. So therefore, like I'm kind of remain optimistic that there will be like a witch hunt as he predicts. But yeah, one thing is certain, that we will, as the technology progresses, and assuming we don't get like a disaster in the next decades, which is likely but not too likely, unfortunately, then we will see weirder and weirder stuff. We'll start seeing like brain-to-machine interfaces, some of them even invasive perhaps, and so if the technology keeps going where it's going, like the miniaturization and just gradual replacement of all sorts of like if you think about it, if you look around in a city, like humans are like quite often the only product of natural evolution, or product of evolution that you see. I mean, in this room, okay, there's a plant there, and there are 2 products here, and that's it, I think. So it's like only natural to assume that technological progress is going to penetrate into humans and start reconfiguring them. So yeah, it's therefore I think the transhumanist view has quite a lot of validity. However, it might be short-lived in the sense that we might get even bigger change here. This is really hard for me because like I come from a totalitarian system. Like I had the misfortune to grow up in like Soviet occupied country, and so it's like I have like this strong repulsion towards totalitarianism. On the other hand, like, there's a lot of discussion about if we as a society should really be careful about what kind of technology we develop. The main argument against that is that like, it's not possible to regulate the technological development. Somebody somewhere will do as they please. But that assumes that there's no world government. There's no entity that can actually take and enforce. And given the new technologies that we will get this century, we might get like effective mind reading technology, for example. And with effective mind reading, like fully reliable lie detectors, for example, like that seems quite possible that we will get them. Like with those technologies, you could actually architect a totalitarian regime that has the ability to control the technological path. So then I have this like ethical dilemma, like what I really hate totalitarianism in principle. On the other hand, if I have the choice between living in totalitarianism, in like human totalitarianism, or being dead along with my family, I would pick the totalitarianism. I've been there, and it wasn't like, it was better than being dead, I think. If you have completely reliable lie detectors, like, and you have like a world government that can, in principle, like control the world by basically sending agents everywhere or whatever they do, then what you could do is to basically create hierarchies of lie detection systems. So you have like sort of local community local people or local overlords who are responsible for monitoring, asking the right questions from their like local people, and then you have like master overlords that basically ask the same questions from the overlords, etc. You get this hierarchy, and then you basically you can't always be sure that nobody's developing dangerous technologies and things like that. Even though it immediately doesn't come to mind, like if you could create a graph structure that actually prevents like anyone from taking dangerous engaging in dangerous activities, it actually seems plausible that you might get the ability to do so.